episode 1, I mentioned that one of the barriers that prevent people from finding their passion is fear. So, what is fear? Fear is a natural, powerful, and primitive human emotion, arises with a threat of harm, either physical, emotional, real, or imagined. Fear is essential to our survival. It is that made us survive all these centuries. So if a lion is running towards me, I'm just going to run away as fast as I can. I'm not going to pretend that I'm Daniel and the lion is my long lost best friend. No way. I will just run as fast as I can. So other than our survival, fear has played more of a barrier in achieving our goals. So some of the examples of fear are, fear of making decisions, fear of rejection, fear of public speaking, fear of uncertainty, fear of changing jobs, fear of losing money, fear of aging, and so on and so forth. So you can put levels into these fears, but the bottom meaning of all these is I can't handle it. So the fear of making mistakes means I can't handle making mistakes. The fear of rejection means I can't handle rejection. The fear of public speaking means I can't handle public speaking. The fear of uncertainty means I can't handle uncertainty, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what if you knew you could handle anything that comes your way? What would possibly have to fear? Mm, Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the solution is to work on handling fear. So in this video, here are 4 things that you can do to handle fear. Okay, the first one is educate yourself. So educate yourself. So by educating yourself, you increase your trust in yourself that whatever happens, you can handle it. So during this pandemic, many are afraid of getting COVID. Many died from this virus, but there are far more people survived it. I'm recording this a month late because my whole family got infected by COVID last month. So my wife and my son tested positive first. Then a day later, I got my results also. It was positive. Actually, I was praying that my result would be positive because so that I don't need to isolate myself. Well, although my plan was if it turned out to be negative, I won't isolate myself either because I just mingle with them and get infected because I believe it is easier for us to manage this virus simultaneously. So I will share to you my formula why I'm not afraid of this virus. Okay. Number 1, prevention. All the preventive measures, I've taken all of them. I'm already vaccinated. I got my boosters. I boost my immune system every day. I take vitamin C with zinc, B complex, D3, and all the letters of the alphabet. I wear mask. I wear face masks every time I go out. I observe safety protocols, the social distancing. I also sleep early. I'm an early riser, so I sleep early so that I get my 7 hours sleep every day. And I eat right. I do exercise, although I need some work on it. So it's like, prevention means it's like preparing for any disasters like fire or earthquake. So for example, in fire, we switch off, electricity and make sure that there are no burning lamps unattended. or we install sprinklers in our house or in our offices, and make sure that there are fire extinguishers around. So that's prevention. The second one is we work together. You know, I am so blessed to have my kuyas, my two kuyas, my kuya Carlo and my kuya Jun, leading this fight for our family. You know, my kuya Carlo, who is a medical doctor, is married to Carol, who is another amazing medical doctor. So our whole family really benefit from their medical expertise. My kuya Jun, who is basically the ultimate boy scout for me, is prepared for all sorts of scenarios way in advance. So what we do as a family, we discuss all sorts of scenarios, as part of our preparation, so we know how to respond. Okay, so maybe you don't have a family member that is a medical doctor or a boy scout brother. Okay, but what is important is you need to discuss this as a family. In any crisis, you have a higher chance of survival if you work together as a team. The third one is respond accordingly. After those preparations, and true enough, when we got infected, we knew the drill. So it's just a matter of going through the drill. So we did not panic. We went through the 14-day quarantine, and now we are okay. Okay. Some plans had to wait, like this episode, but I also was able to accomplish some tasks ahead of time. So if you're a workaholic, and you always go out to work or whatever, being stuck in quarantine can be a challenge. So your patience will be tested. My advice is always look for opportunities. Maybe it's an opportunity. Well, for me, it's an opportunity to self-reflect and have real time for yourself. You don't need to beat yourself for not accomplishing what you planned. Um, I'm sharing this to you because this is important to manage your mental health. Another thing that I want to share with you is you need to be aware of what you feed your mind. 100 years ago, the world was also in pandemic. It was the influenza virus that killed millions of people in the process. Today there are still people who die from this virus. Approximately 52,000 as recorded in CDC. But you see, apart from we already have the vaccine, we don't fear for this virus is because we don't talk about it anymore. It is not in the news every day. So, for me, just keep yourself informed about COVID, but don't watch anymore. If I were you, I don't watch anymore how many died and how they died. I know some people are fond of watching videos about car accidents and airplane crashes. Remember, whatever you feed grows. So if you keep on watching these videos, it will just make you paranoid. So another thing we need to remember is that the world is filled with virus and bacteria. As a matter of fact, life cannot exist without them. Our bodies are filled with bacteria. So that means we just need to live with this virus. That's what I'm saying. Okay, going back to my list. So the first one was educate yourself. The second one is don't play the when and then game. I'm sure you heard people saying, when I have the money, I will go into business. When I get promoted, I will start tithing. When the cases of COVID become zero, then I can go out. My friend, the key is to begin, and the best time is now. Just start it. Okay. The third one is pushing through fear is less frightening than living with fear that comes with a feeling of helplessness. Remember, fear, as I mentioned earlier, fear is essential to our survival. So fear permeates life. We cannot actually escape fear. Okay. Sometimes we just use another term like feel nervous or anxious. Basically, it's fear. Remember, ships in harbor are safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Just to share with you, like many businesses, our business, pediatric center, was also affected when the pandemic started. So we were riding high, and all of a sudden, no money was coming in. I'm telling you to be transparent to be transparent to you, it was really scary. But we knew we need to face it and figure out how to survive. And we did. The main reason why we survived was we were committed to our mission, and that is to serve. So we kept on thinking, how do we serve our clients? So the mode may be different, but it's the same love that we want to give to our clients. So that mentality really propelled us to look for ways, and that thought allowed us to survive. So just to and just you just need to do something to reach your dreams. Avoid getting stuck. Remember, stagnant water stinks. Okay, the fourth thing that can help you handle fear is you need to be clear with who you are. Adolf Merkel, a German entrepreneur and billionaire, took his life after huge financial losses in 2009. He used to be very rich, among the top 10 richest man in Germany. And after that financial losses, he became 50th richest man in Germany. So it's crazy, right? So that happens when you make money as your identity. So when someone makes money as their identity, the tendency is to bury yourself in work or whatever that makes money. So you're driven with fear, okay? So you because you don't want uh, that that money to go away because that is your identity. So when money or your wealth crumbles, your identity also crumbles. So my suggestion is don't attach your identity to something that is temporary. So it can be money, it can be fame, it can be a position or a role in a society. So those are temporary things. At this point, I want to talk about the two fears that I believe a lot of us are afraid of. And these are the fear of dying and the fear of losing a loved one. Okay, the fear of dying. Y- no one wants to die. Yeah, I don't want to die because I have a mission to fulfill. However, death is something we all share. Death is so scary because we don't know when and how it will happen. It can happen tomorrow, next week, next year, or 50 years from now. We don't know. So allow me to share with you two things that how I made peace with this fear. The first one is, I believe we are spiritual beings having human experience. So the birth that we know was just the start of our human experience. So when we die is just the end of our human experience. But our spirit lives on. I also believe that nothing comes from nothing. Um, take this take this paper for instance. Before it became a paper, maybe this was part of a tree. Then, there are many elements that shape that tree to become this paper form. So before we were born, we were in a different form. There are many elements that shape us to become where we are right now. And when we die, we will just change into another form. To think about it, 35 years ago, I was a lanky boy in high school with pimples. So now you can see how, how kinis my face is. So I change form. My mental capacity also, my understanding on life also changed. 10 years ago, I can say that I have changed in terms of outlook. Every day I strive to learn and grow. I don't allow a day to pass without learning something. So we are actually changing every day, whether we are conscious of it or not. Our work, how we spend our life becomes part of the lives of other people. My brother Rommel passed on last September, but he continues to be alive in me by doing these videos. By telling his story to our nephews and nieces, he will continue to be alive in us. Just like Jesus. As a Catholic, Jesus is alive in me as I continue to love the way he loved and live the values that he taught us. The second one is knowing that it can happen anytime makes you appreciate life more. That our days are finite. We need to rethink how we use our time. When you start thinking this way, you will find that it is really futile to keep grudges, to spread animosity or hate. You need to spend your time in loving people, and you will see how prioritizing becomes easier. Okay, so that's the fear of dying. The fear of losing a loved one. Again, I lost my dad and my brother due to COVID. They're just 2 weeks apart. So that span of time was really painful to our family. However, it is something we need to deal with. So allow me to share my thought process and found how I found peace in it. You see, our loved ones, especially our children, were never ours. We don't own them. We are stewards. We are merely stewards. So by believing that we are stewards makes us cherish the little time that we have with them. My son is now 6 years old, and and I'm just happy to be spending a lot of time with him. He is so makulit and noisy, but I know that someday that noise will leave this house. He will have his own family later on and eventually leave us. So by knowing that, I really cherish every moment with him. So it really goes back to appreciation, to be just grateful for the things you have and moments like this, and to just love unconditionally. So there you go. Fear is a broad topic, and we could go on and on. I hope this short video gave you some helpful tips, and thank you for watching.